Welcome back to the Millcreek Government Channel. I'm Jessica Stutzman. The woods are always calling you home at our favorite nonprofit inspired by nature, Asbury Woods. With over 216 acres, 5 miles of trails, and year-round programming, there is always something new to discover. With us today to discuss the Year of Water is Executive Director of Asbury Woods, Jennifer Farrar. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here today.
Yeah, it's great to see you again. Thanks for having me.
Well, we just had a really awesome week celebrating water at Asbury Woods. Millcreek Township participated. And do you want to tell us about what 2023 means, as the Year of Water and the water festival that you guys just held? It was so successful.
Yeah, so for 2023, we decided to do something a little bit different with our programming and to sort of have a theme that we carry throughout the year. And we thought it would be a fun way to sort of allow us to dive a little deeper into a specific topic around the environment. And so water, with Walnut Creek going through our property and being such an important tributary of Lake Erie, and I think too, growing up in Erie, water is just a part of us. I mean, you can't escape the lake, and we just thought it would be a great way to start that theme. And so throughout the year, we've done all kinds of programs. We've done creek hikes, we've done things about water stewardship, water conservation. We took the show on the road a couple times and went and visited other sites that have to do with water, such as the wastewater treatment plant, which was fascinating. And then, as you mentioned, we recently had Children's Water Festival, which brought about 500 fifth graders to Asbury Woods throughout the week. And they actually went around to all kinds of interactive stations, learning all about different aspects of water. So microorganisms that live in the water, water pollution, groundwater runoff, so just all kinds of topics having to do with protecting water resources.
Yeah, this year we were excited to do a board game featuring a watershed, and I love doing these interactive games with the kids because it's one thing to sit in there in a classroom setting and learn vocabulary words and the concepts and the what a watershed means and all that, but to play a game with it and to experience it where you are again using maybe even the Enviroscape table that we used a couple years ago, where you are the cloud, you're the precipitation, and if you put pesticides on your farm and then you're the precipitation, how do those pesticides roll over the landscape and into our water? And the kids were just so excited. And we had a lot of different spices that acted as different things. So I think basil we were dumping on the table, and that was our leaves. And then we had some brown sprinkles, and that was our cow manure. Right. And so we had different things to make it interactive for the kids, and they had a really great time. So thank you so much for asking us to be a participant. We love joining you.
Yes, absolutely. And that's what's really fun about Children's Water Festival is we get to bring in all these outside experts too in various topics around water. And this is the second year that we had hosted it at Asbury Woods. And I love going around because the kids are learning. We know they're learning, but they're laughing and having fun. And like you said, the games, the Enviroscapes, it makes it really real and relatable to the kids because I'm thinking of the one where we pretend they're a drop of water and we put Velcro on them and they have to roll through the watershed and they're picking up pollution as they go. And at the end they're like, wow, if I really was a drop of water, this is the pollution I would have encountered. So things like that make it really tangible instead of just reading it in a book, like you said.
Right. Well, and like you said, you've been doing activities all year long. You invited a lot of government officials to come participate and watch one of your field trips. I think you had Fairview Middle School, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yes, seventh graders, I believe they were.
Okay, and it was so cool. We actually got to hike down to the stream with the middle schoolers, and we watched them take samples of the water, and they learned about macroinvertebrates, microinvertebrates, the pH, the acidity of the water, the cloudiness of the water, if it was healthy, how they felt it, what I mean? So they really analyzed what was happening in their own backyard.
Yeah, I mean, that middle school watershed lesson that we do, and that's why we featured it, is just really incredible, and it gets the kids out doing real science in a place that we hope a lot of them visit or know anyways. And so I think it helps it really sink in for them when they see it in real time. They're just testing the water quality and they're seeing the results in real time, and then thinking and analyzing about what could be done differently and what the impacts are. So yeah, we appreciate that you spent the time and spent the morning with us.
Well, what I thought was really cool too, and I spent so many summers and field trips at Asbury Woods, it becomes your second home. You want to take care of it. What I thought was really cool this year, and I think you're doing more and more of it every year, is how you incorporated technology into the field trip this year. Do you want to touch on the iPads that the kids were using?
Yeah, so I think it was 2019 when we got most of this new equipment, and we really felt strongly about incorporating technology, that if students were to choose a career in any of these kinds of things, that these were the kinds of technology that they would be using in a career and in a real field setting and doing real science. Because sure, we think of nature as escaping technology, but there's also lots of ways that technology is integrated into nature. And so, we do compass courses, or we'll do compass things, and sure, we show with a traditional compass, but it's really great also to show it on a phone or an iPad, because that's the tool that if they were to need a compass, they're likely to actually have with them. So I think that we are trying to find that balance of saying, yes, technology can enhance your experience in nature, and then technology is certainly important in any of the science careers that have to do with the environment and climate and things like that.
Well, so cool. Thank you for doing that. I loved it. What are the new programs and initiatives that our viewers would be interested to learn about that may or may not have to do with water?
Yeah, so, one that we recently did this past year, and we'll be doing it again for 2024, and it did have to do with Year of Water, was our Trout in the Classroom program. So this is a great program where we actually received trout eggs in January, and they were in our exhibit hall in one of our tanks. And so over the course of 6 months, students who came, but also just the general public who came, got to see the trout go from egg and through all the stages up to when they were, I think it's frylings, that they were big enough that we could release. And then we did actually a field trip with our summer campers and release them into Lake Pleasant. So they each got to release a trout. And again, we hope that not only is that just a cool experience for them, we hope that it gets them thinking about, oh, that little trout that I saw swim away, we want to protect and make sure there are clean water habitats for these animals to survive and thrive. So we did Trout in the Classroom. We were doing updates on our website and blogs, and you could visually see as they progressed. So we'll have another batch of eggs in 2024 in January, so people can stop in the Nature Center and watch them progress.
Awesome. And then so how do classrooms or students get involved with that program?
Well, a lot of that is observation, and we integrate it into some of our life cycle lessons, as they're going from egg and through the various stages of their life cycle. So it gives us a real tangible look at some life cycles for lessons. And then, of course, doing the release was a really fun way for the kids to have an experience.
Yeah. Was there anything that your staff learned during the process that maybe they weren't expecting?
I'm not really sure. We'd have to ask our trout expert.
Yeah.
We have one staff member who fish is her expertise.
Okay, so she probably
she documented the whole process. Every day it was counting how many eggs did we start with, how many did we have each day throughout the process. We received 200 eggs, and we were able to release like 130 of them.
Wow.
Which they said they usually expect at least a 50%.
Oh.
So we were over that 50% benchmark.
Good. Maybe that was it.
Yeah.
That was the unexpected turnout.
That
Awesome.
we did a little better. But yeah, she documented everything along the way. So, if we need to adjust any flow of the water temperature, any of that kind of stuff, we can do it for the next time.
Yeah. Oh, that is so neat. And so I was actually just on your property. Sometimes it's nice just to take a stroll there during your lunchtime. And so I was grabbing lunch and taking a walk around. And what a serene, calming energy, being out in nature and, again, like out with the forest and like dirt at your feet. You guys are always improving the property. What particular projects are you working on right now?
So right now we are sort of at the tail end of a project we've been doing for about the last year or so, which is our Little Woods Kids Play Area. So it's an enclosed area behind the Nature Center that's really geared towards like toddlers and early elementary. And we've had it for a number of years, about 15 years, but it was in need of a refresh and an update. So we were lucky enough to have some grant funding to do it. We actually have doubled the size of it. And so what it is a natural play area. And by natural, yes, there's logs and rocks and things like that for the kids to climb on and explore, and sticks to build things with. We doubled the size of it. And our goal with it is that it feels very natural for the kids to sort of just roam and explore on their own, but the parents know that it is contained within a contained area, so that the kids can have, sort of just a more unstructured kind of play space, but instead of 216 acres to roam on, it's a little bit more contained for our younger visitors.
Yeah,
so that's really exciting.
Oh, I love the encouragement of like touching things, and because there's a lot of times where you go to places and you're like, don't touch that, like put that back, make sure, you know what I mean. And it's kind of nice to just, like you said, unstructured play, and is that stick, and now a pirate, and like you're on the water, like what does that become for you? So
right, yes, and I think a big part of it is unstructured play and nature play like that. It really gives little kids a chance to learn some risk taking and sort of their own barometer of, okay, that rock seems really big to me right now. Can I get on it? Is that safe for me to get on it? So they get to do some of that decision making and assess some risk, some risk assessment on their own, but within the confines of a safer area, and knowing that mom and dad are hopefully sitting on a bench fairly close by to help them if they need them. So yeah, and we added a little playhouse this time, so that will be fun for the kids to go in and have a little playhouse that they can get in and not hide, but it always, I know my kids when they were little, they'd find like a tree that just sort of the branches were low, and that to them felt like they were hiding from everybody, from the world, and it was their own little space and creative space. So we hope kids really just let their imaginations run wild in the Little Woods.
Well, I saw the work in progress and it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
So, and then a community favorite is the Winter Wonderland, and it isn't too far away. The pictures online that come from it are they're stunning and beautiful, and they make you feel like you're in a Christmas movie. Tell us what we can expect this year.
So Winter Wonderland will be similar to what it has been the past couple of years. Ever since COVID, we transitioned to it actually being all month long during December, so we'll do that again this year, and that it's free. And that has just been really heartwarming and wonderful for us, as we've done it free these couple of years. We have people who say, oh, I'm here, this is my 4th visit, and it's like, keep coming, or like, oh, I came with my friends, last week, and now I have family in town, and I'm coming back. So we're keeping that same model of where it's free and open to the public each night in December. I think it's 6 to 9 each night, so we wait until it gets a little dark, and the lights are on. Last year we added back in the train room, and we put it in the Nature Center in a bigger room. So if people remember when the train room was in our little smaller outbuilding, it's like double the size now. So if you didn't visit last year, come this year and see the trains. All kids and adults alike are fascinated. So yeah, Winter Wonderland is just, it's a great way for people to get outside. I mean, that's our goal, is that people get outside. And it's so fun to walk that boardwalk and see it at a different season. You visit during the fall, during the winter, during the spring, during the summer. It looks different each season. So it's a great way for us to encourage people to get outside.
Yeah, absolutely. And how long should people plan? How long does the walk or the hike take? And, is it a 5-minute or a 30-minute kind of thing?
Well, I've seen people zoom through it in 2 or 3 minutes, and other people, take their time and stroll for half an hour. So it's the kind of experience you can make it whatever you want. A lot of people come They'll do the loop of the boardwalk, take 10, 15 minutes to do that. They'll visit the nature center, see the trains, maybe visit the gift shop, and then sort of go back out, take some pictures, do a loop of the boardwalk again. So, yeah.
And tell me, and I just think it's so cool, tell me what your gift shop has to offer.
So our gift shop has a lot of really interesting nature themed gifts, and we have a ton of local and regional artisans and vendors who we stock their stuff in the gift shop. So, things made out of wood and slate and beach glass and just a lot of natural materials that we sort of expand it during that winter wonderland season.
Okay, awesome. So this is going to be like a, hiking, shopping. That's right up my alley.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah, the kids like the trains. People like the shopping. The
there's
hiking.
something for everyone.
Yes.
What are your new priorities going into 2024?
So for 2024, a big focus for Asbury Woods is going to be the start of implementing something our board just adopted, a conservation stewardship plan. We worked with a couple agencies over about the past year and a half to document pretty much everything you can imagine about Asbury Woods. We documented the current existing trail system, repairs that needed made to those trails, some potential new trails on property that we acquired in 2021 and 2022. We documented every species of plant and animals that were found on Asbury Woods.
Wow.
So it's this huge document, 250 pages documenting everything about the current status of Asbury Woods and what we need to do to maintain it and in some cases improve it. So there's just a ton of focus that's going to be on managing invasive species.
Yeah.
We've identified some places where we do need to do some work on some forest regeneration, certainly some trail maintenance, and making sure that we're using sustainable trail maintenance and building techniques. And so yeah, it's going to be a huge focus for us. This plan is really meant to give us a roadmap for managing the property for the next 5 to 10 years. And our goal with it is conserving it for generations and generations. Because we have this amazing balance between the 3 prongs of our mission that is conservation of the land. So this is protected green space for community use forever, right? It's not going to be developed. So that's part of our mission, is the conservation and management of that property. Well, we also have to balance that out with the other 2 parts of our mission, which are environmental education and outdoor recreation. So it means it's not just conserving land for the sake of conserving land and no one ever uses it or goes on it. We're conserving it and trying to manage it to balance out, the plants, the trees, the wildlife, and people use of it. So that's the goal of the plan, is to manage and balance those various uses of the property.
Wow, that sounds incredible. And also, what an undertaking to identify all those tree species and all of those plant species and insects and whatever else is going to come your way. And I think of different insects that have probably had an impact, the emerald ash borer and maybe even the spotted lanternfly coming up. So I'm so glad you guys were able to do this for the future.
Yeah, and it gives us an opportunity to document, some surprises came up of, oh, wow, on this piece of property that we acquired in April of 2021, that really there aren't trails and there's no people impact to it yet. Oh, well, we identified this really cool and kind of unusual wetland area called a fen. Oh, and it happens to attract this kind of moth, and so we want to make sure that we preserve these plants that moth likes, and that we take care of these invasives that would have a tendency to creep in. So it's really specific in that kind of way, and so there were some fun and exciting surprises and things that now we know, okay, well, maybe this is a sensitive area, so maybe we don't build new trails there, we leave that alone. But this is a less sensitive and has more common and thriving plant population, so trails are going to have less of an impact over here. So it gives us some information and data to make those kinds of decisions.
Wow, that's so neat.
It's really exciting, yeah.
Cool, so cool. Thank you for sharing that with us. And then the other thing that we just held, Jennifer, that was so successful, Millcreek Township, in partnership with Asbury Woods, was the compost workshop, our annual compost workshop. That was so successful. We were able to distribute rotating tumbler bins, and it was so successful. We want to hold it again in the spring. So if you did not get a chance to participate in the fall workshop that we held, and open to anyone, we'd love for you to come participate in the spring as well. So we have such a good time doing that workshop, and we know that residents love it and request it every single year. So.
Oh yeah, I mean ever since I started working at Asbury Woods, and ever since I've met you and your composting and food waste, spiel and how passionate you are about it. I, of course, now have 2 of those bins in my backyard.
Yes, perfect.
And it's very satisfying once you start it. Like, wow, I have so much more trash.
Yes.
That goes to the curbside, and
right.
now I have this wonderful compost material to work with. So it's very satisfying to learn about it and then implement it and feel like you're having impact in your small way of what you can control at your household.
Yes,
so.
and it's it's one of those things where, like, when you don't have a compost bin available to you, you're like, I don't want to throw this away. I have a banana peel, and I need to compost this.
Right. Yeah,
so I think it becomes like ingrained in you.
Yeah, so it's a great program.
Great. Well, thank you so much for partnering with us. We really appreciate it, and we love hosting this one for the public. And then you have a small but mighty staff, and you have a lot of dedicated volunteers.
Yes.
How can our viewers participate, get involved, engage with Asbury Woods, not just as a participant, but maybe somebody who wants to give their time?
Yeah, so we have a crew. We actually just recently hosted our annual volunteer thank you event. And so we calculate all the data. So in one fiscal year for us, we had over 400 people volunteer, and they gave a collective about 7,000 hours. Mm-hmm. So that is no small thing.
No.
I mean, we could not take care of 216 acres of property and do the volume of programming that we do and have the impact, a growing impact. Our staff is growing, but also, the number and volume of students we're seeing and programs we're doing and property that we have to take care of is growing. And so those volunteers really get right to the core of Asbury Woods' mission, and they get engaged in every part of the organization. So you want to come in and do some administrative stuff, we need that. You want to show up and just weed all by yourself with your music going for a couple hours, you have that too. So we have so many ways people can get involved, and they can look at our website, or they can just call our volunteer coordinator and say, hey, how can I help?
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Again, I love going to Asbury Woods. I have loved going here since I was a little kid. I now bring my daughter. Viewers, I'm sure you are familiar with Asbury Woods, but if you are not, you are definitely missing out on such an amazing space and land, nonprofit organization. This is just like paradise in our own backyard.
That's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, I know. I was trying, it's not as, I don't think it's hidden anymore. I don't think it's like a secret, secret gem, but it is paradise. So viewers, we've covered so much of Asbury Woods today. I hope there was something that caught your attention, because we would love for you to be out in nature and experience all that Asbury Woods has to offer. And just go to their social media pages, their website. They've got a lot of programming that you're going to enjoy. I want to thank you for tuning into the Millcreek Government Channel, and until next time, have a great day.